Right, so I just thought I would hit record because I just decided to read. I opened it to the Song of Solomon, and gosh, I know I keep sometimes every once in a while I'll make a shorter video about this book, but it is just gosh, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just so incredibly profound. It's like this amazing tapestry of just the It's the song of creation. It's the song of all songs, like the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. This is the song of songs, the song of Solomon, the song of Shalom, the song of peace, the song of rest. It's the song of the seventh day. It's like all these things. And you have like Solomon in here with Solomon's son. You have David and Solomon, Bathsheba. You have the Queen of Sheba. It's just like everything is just coming together in this book. And it's through this interplay with life and death, because shalom is rest, shalom is peace, it's death, but then it's also new life because you're going back into the womb. So it's this dance of lovers, because it's this, you're going into the womb, the seed's going into the womb, but the seed also goes into the earth, right? And then the tree comes up, but the seed has to die. Unless the seed falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. So Sheba is rest, it's death. The Shulamite, Shulamite is rest, it's death. It's just this, it's like just over and over and over. This book is hitting on this idea, and it's just, you're just watching a garden. You're watching the Garden of Eden is all you're looking at. I mean, it's fascinating. And like even this verse here, your neck is like the Tower of David. This is Solomon talking about whomever he loves, this mysterious woman. But this is also your neck. It's his mom right there. Your neck is like the Tower of David. So David is sitting on the top of his tower, and he turns and looks at Bathsheba because her beauty catches his eye. Then we didn't know that story. Yeah, then he just goes through it. Then this one thing that stood out to me, this time reading it, is just, well, I mean, everything does. So then he goes through and he's talking about the garden, and he goes through this list of spices, right? And then when the Queen of Sheba comes to see Solomon, it says that she brings an abundance of spices. Then she gave the king 120 talents of gold, spices in great quantity, and precious stones. There never again came such abundant spices as the Queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. So it's like Solomon, it's kind of like the same statement. There never came such wisdom to Solomon. So it's like, it's one of a kind. Like it's, and so she's associated with the land of spices, I guess you could say, something like that. But then, if you watch the spices, Mary, when she anoints the head of Christ before his burial, he says, "You did this for me. You did this for my body, for my burial. For my body," he says. "You did it for my body, for my burial." So you spice a body when it's death. That's like, what does it say? I think even the Egyptians did that. That word for embalming is like the same Hebrew word. It means spiced, like you're spicing the body for the dead. You're anointing a body. You're causing it to give off a sweet smell rather than an odor. It's the fragrance of death versus the fragrance of life. And so you're spicing in death when death is not death, but death is rest. Death is shalom. And it's got a sweet smell. And it's this feminine figure that's doing that, this garden. And so it's the Queen of Sheba, the Queen of Seven, right? The Queen of the seventh day. Rest, peace, death. The Queen of Sheba. But the interesting thing too is that he calls her his sister and his spouse. And when Jesus speaks of the Queen of Sheba, she's the one who comes from the ends of the earth. She's the most strange woman, and she comes all the way to Solomon and unites with him. Yeah, so just think about the implications of that. That's all, the entire body of Adam, all of humanity, all of the strange portions, all of the foreigner coming back together to the one King. Something like that. And it's all connected through this motherly presence. This motherly womb is drawing all together. Earth. I mean, we're all from the clay. We're all from Earth. Mother Earth. That's what we're all connected through that way. And we're all connected to the one King. So she somehow draws us all back together through this death of ourselves when we enter back into the womb, into the grave, into the King. We're all we're gathered to our people. Gosh, it probably sound like I'm spouting nonsense here. Yeah, so I don't know what I'll do with this recording, but anyways, yeah, so the idea is that he marries the ultimate stranger. It's like Moses marrying the Ethiopian woman. It's like this foreigner, and it's like, how do you bring that back in? This is what Mathieu Pajot, when he was talking to Jordan Peterson, was talking about. This question of how do we incorporate the stranger? Without losing the seed, right? How do you give the seed, the king? How does he give? The Queen of Sheba puts the crown on the king, but then he also has to give it to his son. And through that, he has to give it to the queen again. And then she has to take it. And that's a terrifying process, because you're like, I have to give it to death. Like, my seed has to go back into death. My image, my identity has to go into death. And I have to trust that it will be reborn in something like the prince. Like, the king has to trust that he will die. Once he reaches the throne, he has to trust in that he will die. He becomes the martyr, goes into the womb, goes back into his wife, his mother, his sister, his spouse. It's all the same thing. And then he's reborn, and then he's in the bosom of the mother. I mean, it's all this imagery is there. It's like Christ is sitting on the throne, Mary's at his right hand, but then also he's sitting on her lap. It's all this crazy cosmic image. All right, I'm gonna stop, because I'm not describing it very well, but hopefully maybe somebody can get something out of that. If not, just keep reading Song of Solomon's, and read the whole Bible, because you really need all of it. This definitely synthesizes it. Song of Songs. And like I said, it's this tapestry, and it's weaving all these things together. It's a song of creation, the song of redemption, the song of love, the song of the seventh day, the eighth day. It's everything. But it takes all the other books, all the other ideas, all the other images, and it weaves them together. This is Mary Magdalene weeping at Christ's feet and pouring the oil on his head, and then giving birth to the Christ child.